So we will begin our discussion with offshore banking unit. Before that, we will have a brief recap of what we have completed in the previous class. That is offshore banking unit (OBU). So what is an offshore banking unit? We have understood offshore banking unit is nothing but a branch of a bank in India. It should be but located in the special economic zone area. And what is a special economic zone? It is a specially demarcated area by government in which the laws are very simple. Laws are very simple means business and trade laws and tax law. Okay, business, trade and tax laws. Okay, criminal laws are not simple in this area. Okay, so it is a part of India only. Only it is created for purpose of encouraging business, foreign direct investment, etc. So that's why government has said we will mark some area which will be known as a special economic zone, in which the business, trade laws, and the tax laws are liberal, little liberal, so that there will be more investment, etc. in India. So that's why they have created a special area which is known as a special economic zone. And if a bank is located in this area, special economic zone, it will be called as an offshore banking unit. And it should have an authorization under the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Okay, so what is a special economic zone? A special economic zone is an area in which the business trade laws are different from rest of the country. So little bit relaxation and liberal laws are applicable here. Various tax concessions are given. So only this liberal is applicable only to the business, trade, and tax laws. Okay, it is not this law criminal law is applicable like other part of the country only. Okay, so it is only for the purpose of encouraging business and trade that business and trade laws are little bit relaxed and tax concessions are given in this area. If an business units establish a unit in the special economic zone, then they will be given various concessions, that is lower taxation benefit, etc. It is basically created to attract the foreign direct investment, FDI. And in Mumbai, there is a special economic zone which is known as the Santa Cruz Electronic Export Processing Zone, SEEPS. It is situated in Andheri East area of Mumbai, India. Okay, so if any unit is situated in this special economic zone, it will be eligible for various concessions given by Government of India. There is a special act also which is known as a Special Economic Zone Act. There are around 400 units are there, business units are there in this Santa Cruz Electronic Export Processing Zone. That is SEEPS. Around 400 business units are established, already established in this special economic zone. Then what is the eligibility criteria for a bank to open a branch in a special economic zone? That first thing is that it should be a bank operating in India. So it should have a business in India. It can be a public sector bank. Okay, those banks in which government have shares, or it can be private sector bank like the HDFC, ICICI banks, or it can be foreign banks also. But main condition is that such bank should have a business in India, operation in India. It should be operating in India, and it should be authorized to deal in foreign exchange, are eligible to set OBUs. Okay, and those banks which are having experience in already having experience in running the offshore banking unit, they will be the first preference. Okay, this is the experience criteria, you can say. Okay, which is desirable, but main requirement is that it should be a bank operating in India. It can be a public sector bank, it can be a private sector bank, or it can be a foreign bank also. And that bank should be authorized to deal in foreign exchange. Now, the source of raising foreign currency by this offshore banking unit will be external only. They can raise foreign currency from outside external sources. And deployment of funds, that is the use of funds will be restricted to lending of units located in SCZ and SCZ developers. So they can give loans only to units located in SCZ and SCZ developers. Outside that zone, they cannot lend outside that zone. So it can deploy the funds. Deploy means use funds. For example, give loans to the units located in that SCZ unit only. It cannot give loan to those business which are outside the economic zone, special economic zone. Okay, and they can raise foreign currency from external sources, and they can use the fund for giving loans only to units located in SCZ or SCZ developers. So they cannot give loan to outside the business units outside located outside the SCZ and SCZ zone, special economic zone. Now, if any business in domestic area require foreign currency, that can be given by OBU. Okay, domestic area means those areas which are outside the special economic zone. So special economic zone will be a area which is specially marked as special economic zone. All other outside area will be known as domestic tariff area. Okay. So in Mumbai we have seen that SEEPS is a special economic zone. So it will be having some area, no? Boundary will be there. All other area will be become a domestic tariff area. Okay. So offshore banking units can give foreign can satisfy the foreign currency requirement of the outside area people also. Okay, they cannot lend money, but they can give foreign currency if required to the domestic tariff business also. If funds are lent to residents in domestic tariff area, it will be subjected to restriction. Suppose if they want to give loan to those people who are not in SCZ, that is outside SCZ, then it will be subject to various restrictions. So these are some of the conditions for offshore banking unit. First thing is that they can raise foreign currency from external source. They can give loan to the units located in SCZ. They can give foreign currency requirements to the outside SCZ also, which is known as domestic tariff area (DTA). Suppose if they want to give loan to this DTA business outside the economic zone, then it will be subject to various restrictions. Now, very important, the OBUs, that is offshore banking unit, will operate and maintain balance sheet in foreign currency only. So they will prepare their accounts in foreign currency, not in Indian rupees, and they are not allowed to deal in Indian rupees. So all their transaction will be in foreign currency only. So if OBU bank is there, which is located in special economic zone, it should deal in foreign currency only. They cannot have the Indian rupee transaction except for day-to-day expenses they have to meet. No? For that they can give a special rupee account. All other transaction will be in foreign currency. See, since special economic zone is in India only, so day-to-day expenses they will have to meet in rupees only. No? For that they can keep the rupee account, special rupee account. Other than that, all the dealings with the customers will be in foreign currency only, and they have to maintain their accounts also in foreign currency. Okay, but only for day-to-day expenses like maintenance expense will be there, housekeeping expenses, etc. All that thing they will have to do in rupees only because it is ultimately located in India only. Okay, for that purpose they can keep a special rupee account. For what purpose? For meeting the day-to-day expenses. other dealings will be in foreign currency. They are not allowed to deal in Indian rupees, and they will have to operate and maintain balance sheet only in foreign currency. So we can say that operation of OBU in rupees will be minimal. Only it will be restricted to the day-to-day expenses. Okay, nominal minimal expenses will be. All other dealings will be in foreign currency only. See, this definition of offshore banking unit, which we have seen, offshore banking unit is a branch of a bank in India located in special economic zone and holds an authorization issued under the Banking Regulation Act. It is a definition given by Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so this definition will apply in Indian context. Okay, so this definition will apply in Indian context. So from point of Indian context, we can say that if a bank in India is having a branch in special economic zone and it is having an authorization from the Reserve Bank of India, it will be becoming an offshore banking unit. What is the general meaning of offshore banking unit? That we will understand now. What are generally offshore banking unit? In general sense, offshore bank is a bank located outside the country of the residence of the depositor. So offshore bank basically means a bank which is located outside the country of the residence of the depositor. Such banks will be known as offshore bank. Indian point of view, it is a bank which is located in SEZ. This is a definition given by Reserve Bank of India. Okay. But from general point of view, if you will look, offshore bank means a bank which is basically located outside the country of the residence of the depositor. Means what? If an Indian person, an Indian citizen, Indian resident is making deposit in Swiss bank, okay, so this will become an offshore bank for the Indian resident, because if you will read the definition, see, offshore bank is a bank located outside the country. So now Indian resident country is India and bank is located out in different country. Swiss bank is located in Switzerland, so it will be offshore banking unit. Offshore bank means a bank which is located outside the country of the residence of the depositor. Means if an Indian resident is depositing some money in Swiss bank, it will be known as offshore banking unit. But one more additional condition is there, that country in which that bank is situated, it should be a low tax jurisdiction or tax haven that provides financial and legal advantages. This is a very important thing. A bank which is located in different country, it will become an offshore banking unit, but that area should be a tax haven. Now, why many people are depositing their money in Swiss bank? Okay, we know that very big peoples deposit their money in Swiss bank. Why? It is basically they prefer Swiss bank because of the secrecy principle. Okay, so that's why this Swiss bank you can call it as an offshore bank because which is having legal protection. They will not disclose the data to others. Okay, so there is a greater privacy. So one such bank you can call Swiss bank is an offshore bank. So suppose Indian resident deposits money in Swiss bank. So this bank, Swiss bank, will become an offshore bank, and it provides the tax benefits because it is a tax haven, you can say, and it will provide financial and legal benefits also. If the bank is located in such country, then it will become a offshore bank unit. So now let us understand what is a tax haven first, because that is very important to understand the offshore banking unit concept. What is a tax haven? Tax haven are those country in which there is no tax or the tax is percentage is less than 3%. Okay, so there is having no tax. Though some countries are there where there is no tax or they are giving the tax benefit. Such countries are known as tax haven. So people will try to hold their money in such countries because there is no tax. Okay, so such countries are known as tax haven. And if the depositor deposits in banks in such countries, which is having a very low tax or tax haven, or with whom India does not have an agreement, information exchange agreement, tax information exchange agreement, such countries you can call it as tax haven or notified jurisdictional area. Okay, so tax haven are those country in which there is no tax or very low taxes there. Such areas are known as tax haven. And one more thing is that India will not have any information exchange agreement with such countries. So government of India is having information exchange agreement with most of all the countries, you can say. You can call it as double taxation avoidance agreement or tax information exchange agreements. So Indian government has entered into agreement with governments of various countries where they will exchange the information. So suppose if any Indian resident is depositing their money, if government wants details from that country, they will provide. But some countries are there with whom the government of India does not have such agreement, like Swiss. So this is a notified jurisdiction area or a tax haven, you can say, because with that India is not having any agreement. Okay, so this will be a tax haven. So that's why more people, Indian people, big peoples are preferring to deposit the money in the Swiss bank. With that country, India is not having any agreement, and there is a secrecy also. Greater privacy will be there. Okay, then little or no taxation will be there in such countries. Then easy access to deposits. There will be least regulation will be there in country, and there will be protection against local political and financial instability. So if a bank is located in such country, all these things you can say should be satisfied. Secrecy should be there. There should be no exchange of agreement with India. Then there should be no taxation in that country. Then there should be less regulation in that country. And there should be local political and financial stability if there is in that country. Then that bank will become an offshore bank where easily depositor can park their black money, etc. So that's why such type of banks are known as offshore banks. So first thing is that it should be located outside India, and it should be located in such a country which is having greater privacy with which Indian government is not having any information exchange agreement, which should have a no tax or little tax should be there, little regulation should be there in that country, and there should be local political and financial stability should be there in that country. If all these conditions are satisfied, then we can say that it is an offshore bank. And one of the good example is you can say Swiss bank. This that is an offshore bank. There are many other tax havens also that we will try to discuss in the next class. So more discussion on the offshore bank account, etc. What is a tax haven, etc. Which countries are there in tax haven, etc. We will all discuss in the next class. Okay. Which countries come under tax haven and which is the most preferred route for investment in India by foreign investors, etc. They come through which country to India. That all we will discuss in the next class.